All right, Ravens flock, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So, today was yet another day of practice for the Ravens. Training camp continues to move forward. So, we are here to recap the day once again. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I gotta get this out as quickly as possible because I want to continue watching this god-awful Hall of Fame game. The Chargers and the Lions are going at it, but the Lions have just played putrid. You knew it was going to be one of those type of games when the Lions get the ball on the opening kickoff and they fumble it right there. Dan Campbell does such a Dan Campbell move. He puts a linebacker out there to return the punt because why not? It's Dan Campbell. And that linebacker fumbles the ball on the kickoff return. The very first moment of football for 2025, and he fumbles right there. To make matters worse, Kyle Allen, complete garbage today. You are going up against second and third stringers. You got rookies and guys that are fighting for their jobs, and that's how you perform? Two god-awful picks in the first half. The first interception, oh my goodness, the ball was late and inside, which is obviously a perfect scenario for a defensive back to just pick that off. So that was easy. That was nearly a pick six. And then the second interception was also egregious because you could tell Kyle Allen didn't even notice that there was a safety back there. Tony Jefferson is playing the safety role in that situation. He's back there as safety, and he's just watching Kyle Allen lock in on his receiver, not scan the field because the receiver did get a step on the corner, so he threw that into the end zone, but he locked in on the receiver and completely forgot there was a safety back there. So all Tony Jefferson has to do is just locate the ball and go make a play for the pick, which is exactly what Tony Jefferson did because he's a veteran and he can tell this guy's about to throw a terrible pass. And the pass was terrible. Easy pick right there for Tony Jefferson. Two god-awful interceptions for Kyle Allen, and all of a sudden you're sitting there watching this game and it's 24-7. It's just like, all right, why not? As for Trey Lance, he was great in the first half. 2 touchdown passes for him. He actually looked pretty poised in the pocket. Yes, he's going against second and third stringers, but at least he looked decent. At least he looked like he could be an NFL quarterback. I don't know what Kyle Allen was doing. Anyway, you're not here to watch me rant about the Hall of Fame game. You're here to hear about what have happened at practice today. So as usual, I have my notes. I'm sorry, I just had to get that out. Kyle Allen was terrible. I'm getting ready to set up here and I'm watching the dude play like trash. So I just had to. It's halftime right now when I'm making this video. So it's fresh on my mind watching that man play like garbage. Anyway, I got my notes here as usual and we are going to go through today's practice. So today's practice was defined by one person, Lamar Jackson. This was a Lamar Jackson type of day. Lamar is going to be Lamar. You know Lamar Jackson is going to make Lamar Jackson type of plays, and he was doing that all day today. Lamar Jackson doing Lamar Jackson things in practice. That's pretty much what this day of training camp was for the Ravens. He had a good chunk of plays. Made some really great throws today. He had a perfect back shoulder throw. It was a back shoulder throw to Anthony Miller. Perfect throw. Jair Alexander was on the coverage and the coverage was tight. It was perfect, but you know, the perfect throw is going to be able to beat the perfect coverage, and that was just a perfect throw by Lamar. Tight coverage there. Obviously Jair played it well, but you know, the perfect pass right there, and Anthony Miller made the catch. Lamar also had a beautiful over-the-shoulder throw to Dayton Wade, and it was for like 30 yards. I believe it was at the right sideline. So another perfect throw there. I think that was actually the highlight that the Ravens shared on their Twitter page. Either way, it was a beautiful throw, perfect over-the-shoulder look, right in the bread baskets of Dayton Wade. So that was great. Lamar also had a no-look pass to Malik Cunningham. Everyone's like watching him, and it looks like he's scanning the field, and everyone's expecting, based on where his eyes was, it looked like he was gonna throw towards the middle of the field. He just threw a no-look pass towards the right sideline to Malik Cunningham. So that was a great play from Lamar Jackson. He did really well on that, and just Lamar Jackson being Lamar Jackson. He's one of the best players in the game, if not the best player in the game. So you expect those type of things from Lamar. Other than that, it was kind of an interesting day. Cooper Rush, who hasn't really been great so far through training camp, he had a good day of practice, made some really good throws. So it's good to see Cooper Rush actually do something well here. You know, being the backup quarterback, you at least want to see something from him and see some level of positivity there. So it's great to see that Cooper Rush had a good day. Other than that, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was not exactly the best day for the offensive line. Roger Rosengarten, he was actually pretty good. I think he had a great rep against Kyle Hamilton, who was coming on a blitz, and he was actually able to do a good job in blocking him in that aspect. So good on Roger. But other than that, it was a brutal day for the offensive line again. First of all, penalties. They're still an issue for the Ravens. They had probably maybe 4 or 5 false starts, according to the reports. They had a good chunk of false start penalties on that offensive line. Ronnie Stanley got one. Roger Rosengarten also got one as well. So they were 2 of the players that was involved in that. I think they also said LaJohntay Western was also another individual that had gotten the false start. So yeah, penalties are still an issue. The Ravens led the league in penalties last year. I believe they were first or second last year in terms of penalties. So this is an issue that the Ravens have been dealing with for quite some time. And if they don't get it together, they're going to be right up there this season in terms of leading the league in penalties. And that's not what you want to happen. So they have to get this figured out. They are continuing to stack days with these penalties, these false starts, these holding calls. That is not a good thing. That is something that has to get fixed. They got plenty of time to fix it, but it has to be fixed. And that is what Todd Monken is going to continue to press. They have to get this together. Other than that, it was a poor day for both Ben Cleveland and Daniel Faalele. Both of them had a really, really rough day. They struggled in the heat today, and they just did not do well in the reps. There were multiple times where they were like getting off the field and then would come back, getting off the field, come back again, getting off the field and come back again. Either way, it was not a great day for the offensive line. Faalele struggled, Ben Cleveland struggled. That's an aspect that's it's not a good thing to see, but that is something that did happen. And that pretty much wraps up the offense. So other than Lamar Jackson doing Lamar Jackson things, it wasn't great for the offensive line. Zay Flowers did not participate. He's dealing with a camp injury. Rashad Bateman also did not participate. I believe D-Hop was out there as well, so he probably had a good couple of catches. But you're missing Bateman, you're missing Flowers. We already know Likely's injured right now, so it's one of those type of things. So yeah, it is what it is. But that's pretty much it for the offense. Special teams. Both Tyler Loop and Hoyland and Loop, both of them were 3 of 4 from kicking from yardage. I think the highest they made was like 39 of 40. I believe Tyler Loop actually had a shot at a 53-yard field goal, but just missed it left, and it was a really poor kick from him. Either way, both of them went 3 for 4 on kicks today. So the competition continues to happen, and we're going to continue to track that progress because we don't exactly know who's going to be our kicker week 1. The expectation will still be Loop, and again, he has to play poorly, and Hoyland has to play perfect in order for that to happen. But right now, Loop is still in the lead, and today wasn't really one of those days that really changed that aspect. So, both of them did a solid job, but they were both 3 for 4. So you kind of take that with a grain of salt and say, hey, man, it's another one of those days where they stack up. Again, this kicking competition, we'll continue to watch and see how it progresses, but we know it's going to be determined by who's the better kicker in game time situations. So obviously, whoever performs better in the preseason will ultimately get the kicking job. So we'll see how that goes. Moving on to the defense, Nate Wiggins was active. Nate Wiggins has been putting together a really good training camp, and once again, he was active again today, making plays, making stops, the whole 9 yards. It's great to see Nate Wiggins continues to stack great practices. You want to continue to see that from him because you're hopeful that he will be able to take that next step in year 2 as a corner for the Ravens. Other than that, Justin Madubuike was incredibly active today, doing a great job in bringing pressure, and he batted down a lot of passes. So he's doing a great job on that D-line, making great plays, bringing the pressure, and just batting down passes. So great to see Madubuike's name getting involved and him doing a lot of stuff here. Adisa Isaac and Mike Green also had pressures. They both had pressures on Cooper Rush, so that is good to see both of them being active and going out there and making plays and, just putting some really solid reps out there in practice, especially for Adisa Isaac because, he didn't really get to do much his rookie year, and you know how that whole situation went with his circumstance. So it's great to see his name pop up here. And of course, Mike Green continuing to stack on, his practices so far. So it's great to see his name get brought up once again. But yeah, other than that, Nate Wiggins, Justin Madubuike, Adisa Isaac, and Mike Green. Those were the four that really stuck out for the defense. Offensively, it was a Lamar Jackson day, making plays to Dayton Wade, making plays to Malik Cunningham, making plays to Anthony Miller. Great to see that. But yeah, other than that, it's not much else to really say about practice here. So that pretty much wraps it up. They did not have the pads on today, so you know that is what it is. And it was one of those situations where practice kind of was a little bit more toned down because, you know, they're getting ready to do the stadium practice. By the way, there will be no practice for the Ravens tomorrow or Saturday. Sunday is the practice at the stadium, so they're gonna have their stadium practice on Sunday, and then they'll practice again on Monday, and then Tuesday will be the joint practices. So no practice tomorrow for the Ravens, no practice on Saturday as well. Today was kind of a wind down type of day. Make sure everybody gets out of this all safe, and then they have a few days to rest before they have their stadium practice on Sunday, and then they can begin week 3 on Monday with their new week of practice as they prepare for their first preseason game of this whole endeavor. So yeah, there will be no updates about any training camp practice because there won't be any practices the next 2 days, and the next time we'll update you about the practices will be the stadium practice, which you will all be able to see. I'll be able to see as well, and we'll have plenty of footage and highlights in terms of how that goes, and I'm very interested in seeing how that practice is going to go. But I'm even more interested in seeing how the joint practice against the Colts are going to go, because that's the one I really want to look at in terms of how our offensive line is faring up against other teams. How is our defense looking against other offenses? It should be a great one. Can't wait to see how that goes down. But until then, we'll just have to be patient and wait and see. I'm going to get back to watching this horrible Hall of Fame game. Football's back, man. And you know the preseason is always going to be ugh. And yes, it is living up to the expectations of ugh. So let's get back to watching the Chargers dominate the Lions as they continue to move down the field with the Lions defense doing absolutely nothing to stop them. Boy, this is just bad. So yeah, I'm going to end it here. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching, and I am going to head on out. I will see you guys later. Be sure to stay safe, and peace out.